بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Hello my dear students. Welcome to a new meeting. Today we are going to have Unit 5 Lesson 3. Let's start. Number 4, language and context. Match the words with the pictures, then make sentences to describe the pictures. Now we are going to read these words and to match the suitable words to their picture and to compose a certain sentence to each picture. Number 1, sprain, ankle. sprain يلوي, ankle كاحل القدم. poke يوخز, eye العين لأن العين بتوخز. Number 3, fracture, arm, fracture كسر العظام, arm. burn حرق, hand يد. cut جرح أو قطع. finger إصبع اليد، طبعا إصبع اليد finger وإصبع القدم two. Number 6, break كسر غضروف. nose الأنف. Now we are going to match everyone to the suitable picture. Let's start. The first one, yes. He sprained his ankle. Picture B. Number 2, with picture C, he poked himself in the eye. Number 3 with what? Yes, she fractured her arm. Number 4 with D, he burned his hand. Number 5 with A, she cut her finger. And number 6 with E, he broke his nose. Let's transfer into the next exercise. We are still on page 72 on the student's book. Now, this practice is listening. We are going to listen to a track and to determine the items were mentioned in the track. Let's start.
Page 72. 5. Listening. Listen to the child psychologist talk about household dangers for children. Mark the items he mentions.
Most of the accidents involving young children happen in the home. Children are naturally curious. They explore and want to find out about things for themselves. If you leave a child out of your sight for a minute, the child will usually get into something. You should try to keep anything dangerous out of the reach of young children. It's very common for children to swallow their parents' pills because the children think the pills are candy. Any sparkling liquid might be confused with soda. The kitchen is a common place for children to have accidents. The stove seems to attract children most of the time. They want to check out what parents are cooking, so they knock over pots and pans and often burn themselves seriously. Electric sockets are another children's favorite. Make sure the sockets in your house are fingerproof. If you live in an apartment building and your building doesn't have window bars, keep all the windows locked in case children want to climb on the windowsills and look out. It's even worse if you have a balcony. Some people actually build safety nets to prevent children from falling off balconies. But I think parents' approach to dangerous situations is the most important thing, including things shown on TV. Don't let your child believe that he or she can fly or climb up the side of a 40-story building. Wearing a superhero costume doesn't make anyone a superhero who can fly. If you teach your children how to deal with danger, you will help to keep them out of harm's way.
Now we are having 12 items, but which of these 12 were mentioned in the track? You have to read all these items and to guess which items were mentioned and to revise your answer with these items: pills, stove, sockets, pots and pans, windows, and superheroes. Okay? Let's transfer into the next exercise. It's listening again, but related to pronunciation. How to pronounce certain voices or certain sounds in English. Let's start.
Page 72. 6. Pronunciation. A. Listen. Note the common consonant clusters at the end of words. Then practice.
Ulf, myself, shelf,
Ult, result, belt,
nt, accident, restaurant,
st, wrist, first,
and, sand.
B. Read the most common causes of automobile crashes again. Find words that end with ulf, ult, int, st, and nd. Practice reading the sentences that contain these words aloud.
Practice on your own. Let's transfer into the next exercise. About you. In pairs, ask and answer the questions, then switch rules. Have you ever had an accident of any kind related to accidents? Have you ever broken a bone or had stitched for a cut or one? Try to read these questions and to answer them on your own according to your information and your experience. Now, let's transfer into the next exercise, which is 8, conversation on page 73 on your student's book. Read the conversation, find words that end with these sounds. Practice reading the conversation in pairs. Now, we are going to listen to this conversation between Samir and Jassim, who were talking about a temporary or contemporary accident that have happened to each of them. Okay, let's start.
Page 73. 8. Conversation.
So how did you hurt yourself?
I fell off my bike.
Really? So did I. My motorcycle skidded on a patch of oil on the road, and I crashed into a car. The last thing I remember was flying through the air and hitting the windshield. I woke up in the hospital.
Were you wearing a helmet?
Yes, luckily I was. That's what probably saved my life. How about you?
I was cycling in the park, so I didn't think I'd need a helmet. I don't like wearing helmets. They're uncomfortable and unattractive. This squirrel came out of nowhere. I swerved, lost my balance, and hit a tree. I got off lightly, only a few bruises and a bump on my head.
It was your lucky day.
Yeah, that's too bad you broke both legs. You're going to be stuck in that wheelchair for a while, I guess.
Look at it this way. If I broke only one leg, there might not be enough room for all my friends to write their names on the cast. Hey, would you like to sign your name?
Got it? Now, we have to know the nature of the accident of Samir and the accident of Jassim. Now, we are going to discuss these items and vocab. What is the meaning of lucky day? Lucky day meaning a day of good fortune. Stuck in, caught and unable to move out. Lucky day, يوم جميل ذو حظ سعيد. Stuck in يعلق لا يستطيع التحرك. I guess أخمن أو أتوقع. Expression to show that you are not totally sure about statement. Look at it this way. انظر إلى هذا الأمر من ناحية أخرى. There is a different way to think about something. Why? When you want to persuade someone to do something. تريد إقناع شخص بشيء فتقنعه به بطريقة وبأخرى. Okay? Now let's discuss about the conversation itself. How did Samir hurt himself? Why was he lucky? كيف أصاب نفسه أو كيف أذى نفسه؟ ولماذا كان محظوظا؟ How did Jassim hurt himself? Why is he sorry for Samir? لماذا هو حزين على سمير? What does Samir say about the cuts on his legs? إذن these are 5 different questions related to the conversation. Try to answer them How did Samir hurt himself? Yeah, I can listen you carefully. Yes. Now, yeah, Samir's motorcycle skidded on a patch of oil and it crashed into a car. Okay? Let's transfer. Yeah, you can discuss these questions and answer them and to revise your answers with these model answers. Your turn to talk about a certain accident and to imagine yourself. You are Samir or Jassim or someone else who had even an accident. Now we are going to transfer into page 74. Unusual accidents and deaths. حوادث وحالات وفاة غير طبيعية. Many people are interested in stories of unusual accidents. Some of these stories have happy endings, but some unfortunately have unhappy ones. بعض الحوادث وبعض الأحداث يكون لها نهاية سعيدة عكس ما يتوقعه الأشخاص وبعضها للأسف نهايته غير سعيدة. Let's listen to determine which of these. Listening.
Unusual accidents and deaths. Many people are interested in stories of unusual accidents. Some of these stories have happy endings, but some, unfortunately, have unhappy ones.
Unhappy endings. According to the legend, the ancient Greek playwright Aeschylus was killed when an eagle dropped a tortoise on his head. The bird was trying to break the tortoise's shell on a rock in order to eat it. Aeschylus was bald, and the eagle thought the unfortunate man's head was a good rock on which it could break the shell. An 8-foot-tall ostrich was seen weaving through heavy traffic on a Saudi Arabian highway near Abha. One of the drivers filmed the scene and uploaded it on the internet. No one tried to stop and catch the 180-kilo bird that was taller than humans and ran at almost 70 kilometers per hour. It had probably escaped from a farm and ran into heavy traffic instead of the wild. Some people worry about being hit from things falling from outer space. There is only one person in all recorded history who has been killed by a meteorite. Manfredo Satala. The tragedy happened in 1680. Ahmed Ali lost his 8-year-old son in a drowning accident at a friend's house. His son had been invited to join other children at a friend's house to play and swim in the pool. According to the invitation, a lifeguard was going to be present. The young boy was really excited and begged his father to let him go. So Ahmed Ali picked him up from school and drove him to his friend's house before 1 p.m. That was the last time he saw him alive.
Happy endings. A German soldier was riding in the back seat of a World War I plane when the engine stalled as the result of an unusual gust of wind. He fell out of his seat while the plane was high above the ground. As he was falling, the plane's engine started again, and he landed back in his own seat. The pilot was then able to land the plane safely. Bob Hale jumped out of an airplane in November 1972, but his main parachute failed to open. His backup parachute also failed. Bob dropped about 3,000 feet, 900 meters, at 80 miles, 128 kilometers per hour, and hit the ground face first. After a moment, he got up and walked away with only minor injuries. It was an amazing escape. In September 2007, Phil LaMattina escaped death while he was driving at over 300 miles, 500 kilometers per hour in a drag race in Brisbane, Australia. Phil was racing down the track when his car became airborne, split in two, and burst into a fireball. He was knocked out, but he survived. Although he was in the midst of the ball of fire, Phil was burned only on the tip of his finger. When his brothers later showed him the video of the accident, Phil couldn't believe he was watching himself, and that he had such a lucky escape. Railroad worker Phineas P. Gage was working with some dynamite when it exploded unexpectedly. A bar that was 3 feet 1 meter long
and that weighed 13 pounds, 6 kilograms, went clear through his head. He remained conscious, but was unable to see out of his left eye. After a while, his sight returned and he fully recovered.
Got it? So the topic was divided into two parts. The first part related to unhappy endings, related to some accidents. And the second part about the happy, or we can call it unexpected happy endings. Okay? Now, after reading, match the words with the meanings. You have to read the first column first, after that to read the second column as all, and to match each one with its suitable one. Number one, bold. What is the meaning of bold? أصلع. To challenge, يتحدى. To weave through, يتموج أو يتعرج من خلال سيارات أو من خلال أماكن. To hurl, يقذف بقوة. To burst, يندلع أو ينفجر. To recover, يشفى. To explode, ينفجر. To throw with great force, يرمي شيء بقوة شديدة. To get better, يصير أفضل أو يتحسن. Having no hair on the head, ليس به شعر رأس. To contest or fight against, يحارب أو يناضل ضد. To move through something by turning and avoiding, عن طريق التحاشي والتجنب ويراوغ ويتعرج. Yes. So number one, bold with D, having no hair on the head. Number two, to challenge is to contest or fight against. Number three, to weave through, meaning to move through something by turning and avoiding. Number four, to hurl is to throw with great force. Number five, to burst, yes, with A, to explode. Number six, to recover is to get better. Now, complete the sentences about the reading this even topic. The eagle drops the tortoise on Aeschylus' head. And so what? Yes. And so Aeschylus was killed. The ostrich in the traffic had probably escaped from where you will get hurt. Should protect your head. Okay? Ahmed Ali agreed to take his son to his friend's house because many children were invited and a life was going to be present. Although Bob Hale had a backup parachute, it didn't open, such as the main one. When Phil saw the pictures of himself on the video, he couldn't believe he survived. Now it's a discussion on your own to discuss which accident in the article do you think the strangest. Try to read this topic again and to conclude and to find out which accident or incident in the article do you think is the strangest one according to your opinion. It's up to you. It may differ from one to another. Yes. And to revise your answers with one another and discuss them and to learn from this topic that something may be unexpected to please someone. That's for now. Waiting for you the next lesson inshallah. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
مدارس رياض الصالحين مستقبل واعد لجيل صاعد.